Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at a really good Japan exclusive Super Famicom game, and that's GS Mikami Joreishi wa Nice Body, which is a 1993 release from Banalex, which before playing this game I'd never heard of Banalex, but now after playing it kind of want to go and find some of the other games they've worked on because they did a really good job here. It's a pretty excellent game. It's really too bad it didn't get an international release, presumably because it's based on an anime that isn't really very well known outside of Japan. Even though the game itself isn't set during any one time in the anime's timeline, it does feature a lot of recognizable characters from the show. Basically, Mikami and her friends run a Ghostbusters style agency, and when they receive this goddess statue in their office that's missing a bunch of jewels in it, they have instructions to go and recover 7 crystals from a bunch of demonic beings that are recognizable from the show and then return them to the statue. And what happens after that is kind of a surprise ending that I won't give away, but it is a pretty cool plot, and if you're a fan of the anime already, then you'll see a lot of characters and monsters and presumably settings from the show, and that should be pretty pleasing to fans. The gameplay in GS Mikami is for the most part a really straightforward action platformer, but I think it's one of the easier platformers on the system, so if you can already breeze through games like Castlevania 4 or Mega Man X, this one probably won't pose that much of a challenge to you, but it is still really well made. It's got responsive controls, and it's a lot of fun. You have 2 basic attacks with your magic rod, I guess is what it's supposed to be. You can swing it both horizontally and vertically. The vertical slash is really useful for killing enemies that come in at weird angles, because there are a lot of flying enemies in this game. You can also use the rod to reach certain ledges and flip up to gain access to secret areas and whatnot, and find some hidden power-ups. Also, the power-ups for the rod are pretty cool. You get a fire wave, a lightning blast, and my personal favorite is the ice blast that actually fires in 2 different directions. I find that one to be the most useful. You can also occasionally pick up these magic talisman cards that more or less act as your super bombs. When you use them, a big vortex opens up on screen that sucks in all of the smaller enemies and projectiles and things like that. And if you use them against a boss character, it'll actually freeze them in place for a short while, so you can get a few free hits in, which is pretty cool. This is a really short game, probably finish it in about 45 minutes, but if you do want to put it down and come back to it later, it features a very convenient 4-digit password. And in addition to the platforming stages, it does mix it up a little bit. There's a stage where you're shrunk down and riding on the back of a cat as it runs across rooftops, and the screen scrolls right as you dodge a lot of flying enemies that come at you. And then there's another stage where you're flying on a broomstick, which is cool, and I thought this would have been like the perfect setup for a shoot 'em up stage, but it's actually you still just whack things with your wand, which isn't as cool, but it's nice that they switched the gameplay up at least a little bit, for such a short game, to have at least a couple of stages in there that deviate from the basic action platforming is pretty cool. And also the boss battles in this game are really fun. Some of them are a tiny bit frustrating, can be kind of hard to avoid some of the attacks, but they are cool. The bosses themselves look great. My favorite is the doll, the evil demonic doll that's hands float around the screen and attack you as other weird floating dolls come in at you. It kind of reminds me of something like, almost from like a Splatterhouse or something, like an Exorcist type thing, like in the Wanpaku Graffiti Splatterhouse game. It's pretty cool. So the gameplay, even though it's pretty easy, it gets a big thumbs up from me, and so do the graphics and sound design, because like I said, this is a really well made game. I can't believe I've never heard of Banalex before if they were making quality work like this. All of the stages are detailed, colorful, there's some nice scrolling effects here and there. All of the character designs are great, a lot of monsters and ghosts, and like I said, the bosses all look really cool. They're really big sprites as well, very detailed, and the cutscenes look great too. There are a lot of close-ups on the characters and you see their expressions. It's very well representative of the look of the anime, I guess. I've never actually watched the anime itself. I did look up some kind of like clips and trailers before doing the review, and it very well representative of the look of the show. The sound design is really great too. The music, for the most part, is fairly energetic, and it has kind of, I guess the best way to describe it is like a ghostly sound, which really goes with the source material. Again, I haven't watched the television series, so I don't know if this music is taken like directly from the show or if it's at least inspired by music from the show, but it's really good. I like it a lot. So yeah, overall, just a really well-made game, good gameplay, but you know, simple, you know, no time limits, no score, just get to the end of the stage, collect the crystal, move on. But just really well-made game. Fun, responsive controls, no real slowdown or anything like that, and then really good graphics and really good sound design. Like I said, this is, I think, one of the better Japan exclusive action platformers for the Super Famicom. So if you play and collect import Super Famicom games, then I definitely recommend picking up GS Mikami. Looking on eBay, prices for loose carts go from between 30 and 40 bucks usually, which is a little high for a game that you're going to finish in pretty short order. Again, probably about 45 minutes, but you may want to play through it multiple times because, like I said, it is a really fun, really well-made game. I enjoyed it a lot. I've played through it a few times myself. So yes, I can recommend picking up GS Mikami for your Super Famicom or your Super Nintendo, easily modded into a region-free system. Go ahead, pick up GS Mikami. It's a lot of fun. You'll be glad you did. It's awesome.